and see individual years, see how, well, if this is the control and year by year is a different, then that's fine because there's a time lag between net income becomes cash. But year after year, consistently net income is higher than this, that is what's going on here. This is the concern. They report net income, they might not be converted into cash at all. That's one of the biggest problem of aggressive form of doing the income recognition. What's the other way of easily checking quality of income? This one is one of them. You can do that. Accounting income over taxable income. If this ratio is greater than 1 every year, you suspect they are recognizing income, accounting income, much higher than tax income, which is cash based. So these are two. Well, all you have to do is go to income statement for this. This one, cash flow statement. You can find out the quality of income easily that way. A closed company, open company by mix of subsidy, including financial statement. We talk about it. You are mixing. Can you imagine current asset? Okay, current asset. Consolidated financial statement has current asset. For example, let's say one item, current asset. Current asset for financial institution is cash. Current asset for a manufacturing could be anything. High tech. So you are adding all different types of current assets for your subsidiary, and you have one number, one simple number for each individual item. Too much approximation. That's why. 89 up to 89. You include all subsidiaries, all sub in consolidated financial statement, but before 89, finance subsidiary was excluded from the consolidated financial statement because their asset structure is quite different. They had to change the rule because parent company borrow money with the finance subsidiary, and they never include in consolidated financial statement. They have access to cash. They don't show liabilities. That's why they say, okay, even if that is a finance subsidiary, you must include every subsidiary in consolidated financial statement. That is the 89 and on. Right now, financial statement has a comparability problem. A lot of mixture. But this is the result of many different deliberations up to this point. Segment profitability can be affected by intercorporate transfer pricing and allocation of a overhead. Segment profitability. Okay, I have here head office. Now here segment A, B, C. So here $100 million a corporate expense, advertising, promotional expense at corporate level. How would you allocate this $100 million to segment ABC? How? And how would you allocate? That's one issue. The other issue is annual report and 10Q, quarterly report. How would you allocate this? Well, annual report, 100 million altogether. Now 100 million to quarterly statement. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, payment quarter, 1/4. How would you allocate head office, central expense into different segments in which quarter. Now, depending upon allocation method you choose, you have quite different numbers. That is another a problem. Now, after 10 weeks of extensive discussion, what will be another limitation? There are quite a few. This is the just summary of these three figures. Anyone, what will be a major problem? Meaning, well, you are analyzing financial statement and you find your company 10K is really complex and a lot of technical language included. What is the another limitation problem?
One segment is really bad, another one is covered.
Average effect. Average. And we say in economics terms, we say average effect in economics class, policy of composition. In economics terms, if we try to equate with the accounting concept with the economic concept, but we say that's the average effect. Average will hide serious problem in that a membership of consolidated entity. What will be another problem? Someone who using this a consolidated financial statement, or advantage of using it. Advantage. Pros and cons of financial statement, consolidated financial statement. At this point, I mean, we don't have any more discussion about this unless you go to PhD program. No? You say, oh, I like accounting, why don't I sign up for 5 more years? Full time. Full time.
Oh boy.
No part time, minimum 5 years, average 6 years, most of the case 7 years.
Oh boy.
You don't have outcome. I have my a bag ready for with return flight to my country. Yeah. If I get a 1C, PhD program. There's no margin for error. I was ready to go to airport and go back to my old job, which I hated. They say, oh, you're not coming back? You're not coming back?
Maybe.
All goes well.
First few years, and then they forgot, and that's it. This is it. Now you are applying the concept you learned. I don't think you have, unless you go to a training session, like conference yesterday, right? The opportunity to refresh your memories. What are the pros and cons? Anything of a consolidated financial statement. We spent 10 weeks, 40 hours on this right now. At this point, I mean, I'm sure you have pros and cons, at least one of them.
So then this could be like internet foreign company and like, you know, without exchange.
Oh,
currency
okay,
effect.
okay.
That could be either good or bad thing. Consolidation.
See, managers don't have any influence over foreign currency exchange rate, but then fluctuation of foreign currency exchange rate will have an immediate impact on financial statement. And we disclose as much as we have information, but then that's not true picture of managerial performance. It's a dominating dollar. Right now, strong dollar is giving a headache to major corporations in this country. And that is good for Japanese, that is good for European companies, and that is good for any other company because compared to US, their currency is weak.
Another like pro and con can be like corporate,
Corporate tax, okay?
So like if segment A is doing well, segment B is not doing well.
Mhm.
Instead of paying tax, high tax from segment A division, you can offset that
Wow, that's a good one. In other words, see, uh, tax return, corporate tax return, is on consolidation basis, right? Consolidation basis. Corporate tax return will filed by parent company for the 1,400 as well, because consolidated net income will be a basis for a taxable income. So, in that regard, this is good. This is good because you know 1,400 plus parent company performance result, and you pay tax on that. This, by the way, this is a separate service. All this service, corporate tax return service, is separate. Although, in order to get new clients, they say, we'll give you 5-year free tax return if you give your audit account to us. Those kind of low rolling is going on right now. That's another way of looking at a average effect. Another one doing very well, you owe a lot of taxes, but then the other one is not doing well. So you add them up, you look like you don't have a good year in terms of a performance. But then some a division could have a record high net income, a whole lot of taxes. Some division losing money, they claim the tax refund, and if you add them up, all together on a consolidation basis, results are not that obvious. Which part of company is doing good, which part of only looking at tax basis. Could be pros and could be cons. Others, one each.
I would say if like the company is kind of acquiring a lot of risky companies, you could see, I mean, there'd be a huge, current liabilities might be very high. If they're, you could sort of judge based on the overall kind of ratio, the current ratios. I mean, if they're, all the companies they're acquiring have a lot of debt that are due, that's going to show up, and it could, even though the overall firm itself might not have liquidity issues, when you kind of factor in all the debts that might come due, the subsidiaries, you might get a better view of it with the consolidated statement.
Yeah, it might disguise through pictures of a financial obligation. In that case, you can, by reading financial statement or consolidated financial statement, you might not catch that aspect of this bill. What else?
Just the size of the thing. I mean, financial reports are supposed to be, transparent, but now you get these, like phone books. So the complexity of the reporting is such, they allude to it here, is such that, even yourself, as a PhD, you say the footnote, it took you a couple weeks to figure out what the hell it's trying to say. You know what I mean? So the complexity of the information is quite large. And then in relation to this, your method of allocating should be consistent, right? So if they're doing income management and they apply inconsistent ways to allocate over years or months of time, there's a danger. So,
Financial reporting could be undermined with the problem with consistency, comparability. You can't compare one firm with the other unless they are using the same accounting method. GAAP allows 5-6 different inventory accounting, another 5-6 different depreciation accounting. So there is a comparability issue, consistency issues, and that's the problem. Year to year, across the firm, problem. Limitation of using it. So consistency, comparability, what else?
Intercompany sales, can't they be like hidden if they have a significant amount?
Oh, yeah. See, individually, they are profitable big firm. Since consolidated financial statement exclude all the intercorporate transactions, it doesn't show actually how profitable each individual company is by looking at this. For that, you have to look at individual subsidiary income statement, which is not available. Good point. Yeah. Problem.
It's going to be hard to analyze the particular business on a consolidated basis because it could include manufacturing, technology, service, financing. There's so many different industries that go into the numbers, it's gonna be hard to, like, determine volume, for
Yeah,
example.
yeah, volume plus, cost volume profit analysis, for example. How you do break-even analysis when you combine 20 different industries, 1,000 different companies with 2,000 different product lines? There will be no break-even analysis. Forget about a cost volume profit analysis. That would be major problem. I am sure each one of you have huge list of this problem because you are having trouble right now analyzing your financial statement.
Trouble with a lot of different.
8 hours just looking at this consolidated financial statement, and then I'm like, okay, I burned out. That's it. I'm not gonna look into
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
8 hours, and each team member 8 hours. So that yeah, this is for utility company. How do they use company financial statement? Utility company. PSNEG, South Georgia Gas. What is their use of company financial statement?
Well, because they have a rate case, that's one of the things.
Rate
Yeah.
case.
Yeah.
Rate
They
case?
figure out how much they're gonna charge you for your electric and gas based on the financial statement.
And they need to at least
DPU says, for state of New Jersey, DPU says to them, you are guaranteed, let's say they're gonna put up a transmission line on Long Island. Long Island's finding it out now with PSE&G.
Mhm.
Real quick. Long Island got PSE&G to come in because of reliability issues. So PSE&G says, great. To Long Island, all these transmission and distribution lines, which he's kind of part of, and they say, we want a 7% return on that investment. Ergo, they have a rate case. They go to the local utility board and they say, okay, well now, you guys in Long Island, your electricity's gonna go up by a certain amount of percentage to pay for that.
And then the state steps in and says, no, you can't do that.
Well,
Go back.
they try to, but then they come. But the thing is, they used all that financial information for.
Rate case hearing, they will use consolidated financial statement. Okay, you are
That's my 10 minutes
PSNEG.
of foolery.
South
My-
Georgia,
My contribution, I'll shut up now.
South Georgia Gas and PSNEG CEO. Rate case hearing is coming up next year. Financial reporting, what financial reporting alternative you have? What is your motivation? If you analyze PSNEG this year, for the rate hearing case next year, what do you expect to find out financial reporting from PSNEG financial reporting this year? Income increasing or income decreasing?
Decreasing.
Income decreasing to justify the increase in rate.
Margin
We are not
decreasing.
making this money if we don't increase 25% per kilowatt, we will be in deep trouble. And after they got rate increase,
Oh,
they release their accruable
Cookie jars.
income. That's how it goes.
Cookie jars come out.
I'm not saying PSNEG is doing that. I'm just saying on the average, that's how electric utility or any other utility is using their financial reporting.
oh, they're
So
regulated.
compensation for electric utility CEO is a function of what? How they decide top management compensation for utilities in the average. Not how much income they report, but how many times they got permission from state utility commission,
Regulated.
the regulators, the percentage of success rate in terms of rate increase.
State of Jersey, DPU.
DPU.
State of Jersey.
Yeah. Negotiation skill is a function of your compensation. Yeah.
Because then
Unique-
then that translates into approvals, which translates into revenue, which translates into hopefully.
Exactly. That's why negotiation skill is the most important skill. The public utility CEO must have. This is very interesting industry. So each industry is have different ways of using consolidated financial statement.
I'll do that, I'll talk about it. You guys shut me up, that's the problem. I'm gonna go for more than 10 minutes, guys.
The whole idea of objective of this course at the beginning was you should be very comfortable with reading financial statement and know how to pick your information you need. And hopefully now we'll get that by doing this project. Otherwise, we don't have any other opportunity to go over this detailed financial reporting case. Now, IFRS, both GAAP and IFRS classify passive trading available for sale HTM. That's not. Definition of financial instrument is much broader here. Unlisted security can value fair value or if it can fair value unlisted securities, unlisted. Not any security can be fair value if you have you can measure under IFRS classification to and from trading portfolio, but is prohibited. At no way. Under US GAAP, you can ask for reclassification if you prove you had a hardship case. Accounting standard was developed jointly FASB and IASB. One company can measure non-controlling interest at fair value, IFRS fair value, good approach. As a US GAAP, here proportionate share of identified asset purchase. So fair value approach, this is close to a historical cost, but US GAAP permits fair value only. In other words, fair value here cost the historical cost, but that is all allowed. US GAAP under IFRS parent accounting. See, this is in this country, subsidiary, children, they don't listen to parent here. Parent company. I wish I can explain this in front of my daughter. See, here, under IFRS, if parent company use a straight line depreciation, 1,000 subsidiary must use that. Here, subsidiary. In this country, no way. If parent company is using a FIFO, I can use LIFO even if in the same industry. This is the major consistency issue, comparability issue. Contrary to US GAAP, under IFRS, fair value impairment intangible asset can be later reversed. You know, we know that reversed. Inventory can go back to original value under IFRS. Inventory can go back to original value. Even after you take the impairment charge, written back up to after being written. In other words, you go back to original. But US GAAP never allows that under the name of a conservative. Once you written down, that's it. You can go down, but you cannot go back. So that is the difference. Now, I'm not going to go over, although it's on the syllabus, I'm not going to go over all the, I just introduced. Lease accounting, this will be non-GAAP accounting, so we don't have to worry about it. Lease accounting. So, for off balance sheet financing, now we don't have much of off balance sheet financing, so we don't have to worry about it. For at least for a for your case analysis, yes, you might need it. Capitalized lease, we don't have to worry about how to convert this because I'm assuming this will pass. I'm fairly sure. And then there will be no operating leases. Everything will be on a balance sheet. So we don't have to worry about off balance sheet financing. So you don't have to convert operating lease into capital lease because everything is here. This solves a lot of problems. This solves a lot of problems. If you have, well, still, even if you have capitalist only, you have a huge tax adjustment because if you keep buying new asset that keep leasing new asset, there will be huge difference between early year depreciation and interest expense compared to later year. That will create huge deferred tax liability. That will stay. That will be another big change because 10%, 20% capital lease, 80, 90% operating lease, now everything 100% capital lease, you will see huge deferred tax liability because you never had deferred tax liability with operating leases. You pay just rental expense every month. That's it. Now that will change because deferred operate capital lease means depreciation, and depreciation earlier years you take a huge depreciation that will create what? Yeah, deferred tax liability. We only know you don't see this one anymore, and that will be 100% of it. Right now, as of this year, up to this year, 80, 90% of this, 10 to 20%. As we already saw one of the examples. So we don't have to worry about. I'm most certain. In other words, this one is a Southwest airline. Here, capital lease is 46 million. Operating lease is what? 5 million. Less than 1%. 99% on operating lease. 1% on capital lease. Can you imagine you are moving this into here? 5 billion, this one will go to debt, long-term debt, and asset. There is not a single ratio which will not be affected by this change. Yeah. And that's why they say this $2 trillion on balance sheet financing will trigger a lot of problems. And business magazine and news commentator, this is way too drastic. You are in the right direction, but you gotta slow down on this process.
Well, Clay asked, how do you do that? How do you incrementally do that?
I guess transition period will be 5 to 10 years, for example, instead of 1 or 2 years. 5 to 10 years. Look, B1 is coming in about 10 years. Fix now.
So, in other words, it's going to go into effect in 5 years, say. So, when every lease you do going forward, start doing them as capital leases now, and then in 5 years, we'll just transition whatever you still have as that operating lease as a capital
Yeah,
lease.
yeah.
Okay.
That will be one compromise.
Okay.
Would you be able to, as part of this, are the banks going to have any sort of leniency on debt covenants as part of that? Or are they going to say you still got to meet your ratios, knowing that they're going to totally get blown out of the water?
That wouldn't be, but that's the thing. If the bank tries to collect,
That's the thing.
that's an extraordinary circumstance. The judge would say, no, this is still going according to GAAP. If they were still operating under the terms of when they
The
signed the
original
note.
agreement
Yeah,
almost would
yeah.
prevail
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
One thing I know,
Yeah.
I know, they will revise the
have
debt
to.
covenant.
They have
Now,
to.
instead of direct ratio of 2 to 1, they might say
1 to
2.5 to 1, for example, because you are putting $2 trillion on
Yeah, that's huge.
as a whole. So they will revise on the new covenant. They will revise this, but then that's another big problem. That you see a lot of problem, and this will affect almost every major transaction or financial reporting issues you have. Lease accounting changes. But this started 2006 and 2015. It took 9 years to have draft. Okay? Because of the lobbying and this. The current version is, strict version. We'll see how they survive in the political process. well, we don't have to do this, converting. We know how to do it, operating lease, convert into capital leases, and you can use internal rate of return formula, Excel spreadsheet formula, and then it will give you IRR percentage, and you use that IRR percentage to discount back. So operating leases for 10 years, you are using IRR, internal rate of return, to a discount back to the present, and you find out total a present value of a lease obligation. That's how we convert operating leases into capital leases. Using Excel spreadsheet formula IRR function. What else function do you know of from Excel spreadsheet? Because now you are not allowed to use calculator at your work. I'm sure you're using Excel spreadsheet, right? For most of the case, right? What else you have function? IRR, what else? NPV, net present value, and there's a function NPV, and you put up numbers, and then NPV will come up. Future value, present value, payment, NPER, number of periods. Every conceivable computation, you use a Excel spreadsheet function, not a calculator. If you input numbers with the formula for virtually every conceivable formula, yeah, that's how they convert into this one. So how they convert this the operating leases to capital leases, and using that. Now this. Well, we don't have to worry about that much at least, because this will be most likely will be non-GAAP accounting, and we know how to adjust this one. Here, adjustment to income statement from capitalization of operating leases. That will change everything once you do. So what we see is right now, hopefully 2018 and on will be 100% capital leases, so we don't have to adjust. So reported and adjusted figure. Once you convert operating lease into capital lease, annual PAT is increased here. Annual PAT is increased, and non-operating expense increased, and percentage increase is this. Increase after you convert this operating lease into capital lease. So you'll see quite different, at least for this industry, you'll see quite different ratios. So this is a reported and adjusted percentage of after you convert operating lease into capital lease. This is the adjusted ratio. So everything is here. Return on a net operating asset went down because asset base went up. So that's not surprising, because income went up, but then a asset base increased. So that ROA is about the same, but slightly less in this case. ROE went up. ROE. I guess that's the impact on the numerator is greater than denominator, because net income increased, but NNO, net non-operating obligation, is a financial obligation minus financial asset. That impact has more positive impact, as you can see, adjusted 2.5. So that is not a major issue we are facing. We can, at whatever the compromise version is, that's not going to much different from original version, because we have been talking about this for many years. Most likely they will say they give more time to adjust. For new lease, this will be the new rule, and old lease you have, you just keep using that old that could be the one thing. Major problem is off balance sheet is a pension plan, defined contribution plan, defined benefit plan. More and more companies give defined contribution plan, not defined benefit plan. This one is available for military personnel or a railroad, and some of the not-for-profit, they still have a defined benefit plan. This is the problem. This is not. This pays X percentage of your salary to your pension account, but this is guaranteeing your benefit after retirement. If you stay with our job for 30 years, you will get 90% of last 3 months of your salary, monthly salary, as a regular salary up to your for until you die. That's a typical example of defined benefit plan. I don't think you have defined benefit plan. I could do that. This one is good.
Yeah,
Yeah, contribution plan.
it's kind of like, well, I don't have one. One of the PSCs, the older guys, older people, had the defined benefit, okay? And what that meant was, you got $1,000 when you retired, no matter what, right? Now this is like, kind of like a 401k, they match it.
Yeah.
Now, the problem, is, you probably won't know this when you talked about it earlier today, the investment vehicles that are being used to create that defined benefit in the future have an implied interest rate. When you have a low interest rate, Peterson was telling us, you have a low interest rate thing, the environment like today, it's all great, but they gotta make more of a contribution because the investments are
Exactly. Here is your responsibility to manage your pension fund, but here employer need to contribute more in order to make up the low return environment. So that is the problem. So accounting problem is coming from here, not from here. This is a straightforward. Pension expense, the compensation expense, cash goes out on a regular basis for the company. This one is not. You are guaranteeing a defined contribution. Open, no problem. Recorded as expense, that is not a problem. But defined benefit plan, this is the major problem. And if you, for a good example would be 2008 GM bailout, GM. U.S. government tough money, TARF, tough money. They advanced $45 billion to GM after crisis. Their pension obligation was more than $50 billion. So you have money, not enough for the one pension obligation. That's how big this amount is. Now, the background of this, up to 1970s, this was the pay as you go system. What is the pay as you go? Look, we have been, it's been good business with you for the last 30 years. This is the lump sum money for your retirement. This is for your retirement living expense, health care, and prescription drug. So what they do is a 30 months salary, 30 months salary for 30 year service. But how much you pay monthly salary? Last 3 months, which tend to be highest. So the highest 3 months average. So for 30 years, 30 months of salary. It worked up to 1960. When people live 65 and 70, pay as you go, well, they don't live long. After 65 retirement, they live 5-6 years on the average. Fine. Not anymore. If you go to California, I was surprising me. I went to a conference. About 75-year-old grandpa was on a rollerblade and enjoying rollerblade in the park. I was amazed. I mean, with the grandchildren, 2 grandchildren, and this 75-year-old was riding the rollerblade. I think he will go 1995. See? Not anymore. Longevity is just. So now, U.S. Congress passed ERISA. Security Act, Employee Retirement Income Security Act. In other words, this is a cash base. look, this is one lump sum cash, 30 months of salary right here, because you work for us for 30 years, every year, 1 month, 30 months salary, right here. This is it. Now, when they retire at 60, people now live 85, 90, 30 years. Someone has to pay 30 years of a retirement expense. Who should that be? Well, the company they work for entire life. So U.S. Congress says, while they are working for 25 to 60, see, 25 years old and up to 60 retirement, for the 35 years, every year you have to set aside money for this employee, accrually. You have to compensation expense. That is ERISA, Employee Retirement Income Security Act. So cash basis of pension accounting became accrual basis of accounting, and every year they set aside, and that is the pension asset. Pension asset, plan asset, they say plan asset, pension plan asset. Now, they set aside this much of money every year. Every year they invest money into here, as opposed to they have pension obligation, how much they own and they owe. They owe obligation here. So you compare pension obligation with pension asset. If this is greater than pension asset is greater than pension obligation, we say this is the overfunded. Usually what they have is obligation is more than asset, underfunded. Pension footnote will give you whether the company pension asset is overfunded or underfunded. How we measure? We know this present value of fair market value of the asset. How we measure this pension obligation? That is the big issue. They settled first DBO, ABO, and PBO. They struggle with these three different obligations. DBO is vested benefit obligation. In other words, they already own, even if they quit today, you must pay that money. Vested. Accumulated a benefit obligation is, okay, vested obligation plus future salary, pension expense associated with future service based upon current salary. In other words, he's making $100,000. Right now, $5,000 is my pension expense. $5,000 for the next 30 years. That will go to ABO. But people increase their income over years, this will be projected salary increase. Pension obligation associated with increase in their pay, salary increase. FASB tried to decide true obligation value. Under the name of conservatism, they chose PBO. So you chose PBO and pension asset, and you find out whether underfunded, overfunded. This one. So obligation we are talking about here is this kind. The most conservative, the conservative number, which is highest obligation. It was not easy. It took several years to figure that out, because of the contentious issue. For example, can you imagine? This is like a lease accounting right now. No obligation to billions of pension obligations. Operating leases to $2 trillion of obligation. So that was the issue back then. And this was
So, that kind of explains why the defined benefit plan is going away more and more. It's almost
because you shift risk of managing your pension asset to whom?
to no
Retired employee.
employer.
Yeah. Employer, too much risk. If they guarantee their retirement, that's good. Instead, they set it aside this much money.
They don't do it, then they don't have it. Yeah, I see that in NRG, we have the legacy companies have defined benefits. But, you know, newer ones don't.
No, yeah.
But like last year, we had a big adjustment because actuaries came in and said, well, we'll rely on retirees being longer.
Mm.
So you're gonna be paying these defined benefits to the legacy companies longer. So they have, anyway.
Yeah. If they live 10 years after retirement, if they can have, on the average, they live 30 years under defined benefit plan. Fund must pay 30 years of, so that is the, so plan asset PBO. See, pension obligation, that is the PBO. PBO, right here, this one, not this one, PBO. So plan asset, at the beginning of the year, return on investment, you're doing 8%, 9% return, you add them up. Company contribution to pension plan every year, 10% or 5%, your salary will go to your plan asset. Now benefit paid, retirement, if you pay, that will reduce. So pension plan asset, ending balance. This is the ending year balance. Projected benefit, PBO, beginning balance, during the year service cost, and PBO has interest cost, and actuarial losses or gains, you're amortizing or prior service cost, for example, benefit paid to company. So that will be PBO at the end of the, so you are comparing these two. We already know this accounting. It's complex, so it's good to remind. This financial reporting class, I'm sure you dealt with here. Pension plan asset, market value, and PBO. PBO. So underfunded, overfunded, right here. Underfunded, overfunded, PBO plan asset here. If this is a bigger, overfunded. If this is bigger, this will be underfunded. I'm sure with current market environment, most of you have a balance or underfunded, slight underfunded. If stock market goes up, yeah, everyone is overfunded. See? Computation. Increasing pension obligation due to employee working another. The service cost is a period of service cost, and PBO, pension obligation. So you have additional interest on that. Benefit paid, company obligation, reduce benefit paid too. You reduce that by the amount of benefit. So pension expense, the most interesting part of this is this guy. We know this guy, expected return on pension plan. I say, if you look at their pension footnote, what's it? See, this is the whenever they manage their own, just like a case this morning. Case, I'm sure I found something from their corporation. If I analyze pension footnote, let's say this is the 2012, 2013, 14, and 15. Now, expected return on pension plan. This is the year. This is the year we are looking at. This is the current year. We don't have. This is the current year we're looking at. Expected percentage on return on pension asset is, they say 6%, but they all of a sudden do the 8% here. Well, they usually increase gradually, not this drastic, but to make the point here. Percentage return on their plan asset. Plan. What this 2% increase will do here, if you assume your return on pension plan assets will go up by 2%, that will be millions of dollars, right? Pension plan assets. So if that is a minus, what will happen to net pension expense? Goes down. Goes down. That's why the Hashing federal case this morning, they got by assuming increasing return on their plan assets, $4 million increase in income, easy. Because if you increase this, just percentage increase, never realize, you are assuming that, expecting, then $4 million increase in income. Because they reduce pension expense by 4. So find out, assume, they must disclose this, find out pattern of this, increasing, decreasing. That will give you another insight into a management's motivation for financial report. FedEx Corporation. The founder of FedEx, he was getting a college dorm. He was getting C's and C's after C's. Yeah? The idea he got, 1960, he was doing a lot of errands for classmates. He was giving this class note to another colleague across the street, and back and forth. And he got the idea, oh, look, if I deliver this for money, I will make a lot of money. Yeah, he ended up making a lot of money. That's his idea. He was doing a favor to his classmate, giving this class. Well, he got getting C's, so he has to do better. And he got this note and take note, gave it to someone else across the street. So he got this business idea. If I deliver package, letter, and everything from one place to the other, and they must pay for me. And now they have what? Airplanes, hundreds of them.
Thousands of trucks.
Operating leases open.
Yeah, that's the big lease item. They are leasing hundreds of, even thousands. I don't know, billions or billions of airplanes on operating leases. And FedEx, is look at here, changing PBO. PBO went up by 5 billion. Well, you have more obligation because of the service cost and interest cost and benefit paid here. And changing pension plan asset, so 15 billion, 17 billion. So they're underfunded by almost $5 billion. Big problem. Well, a healthy company, and if market goes up, this will erase right away, but then still underfunded obligation. If you do Google, if you go to Google Scholar and do pension, any pension research, it will show up tons of research done in this area. 1990s, early 2000, when they deliberate this pension rule, researchers did a lot of research on this issue, and you can find out any research you want by looking at the Google Scholar. Fairly comprehensive. Any firm with overfunded pension plan, overfunded state here, overfunded, which means asset is greater than obligation. This one is greater than this one. One time, they allow, if this is bigger than this one, you can dispose for gain. In other words, if you have the asset more than obligation, you can sell that overfunding part for one-time gain. 1988, profitable big firm post millions and millions of net income by getting rid of overfunding status. They don't allow that anymore. That's a tragedy. Service cost this period 593, almost 600 million. Interest cost 1 billion almost. Expected return 1.2 billion. Yeah, expected return. You assume you are making this much money on plan asset, but that's the expected. Stock price goes down, this could be zero, or even you lose money. And this one will be net period benefit cost will be adding this up, $1.7, $2 billion, depending upon how stock market. So this plan asset is very sensitive to stock market performance. And if you look at this over time, for 4 or 5 years, this will tell you a great deal about management thinking about how much they will make on plan asset. Find out if they are under pressure, they have temptation to change this effective rate of return. That will decrease your pension expense, increase their pension expense, decrease in income. Right away. Big item, because small change, even a 25 basis point changes, that will have millions of people.
If you want to know, you would divide it into the expected return and give you a number. You want some consistency year over year. So if you're seeing a higher, then you're saying you're a little more aggressive.
Yeah. Because higher number here means they less the pension expense. Yeah, of course. Well, cash flow implication. Benefit reflect expected future service, expected paid as follow for the year. So this is the change here. Expected payment is here. So how much cash you need to pay benefit to the employee, future projections. So one application pension footnote assess likely the company will be required to increase its cash contribution to the pension plan. So if they are not doing good, they must do something about total pension plan. Only way to have funding status is to increase their contribution to the pension plan. Otherwise, unless they are doing good on a return on pension asset, there is no way you can have strong funding status, because that will be underfunding status. This is summary of implication. In other words, assumption changes. If the assumption change, discount rate goes up, effect on pension. If discount rate goes up, yeah, pension expense goes up. Right? Discount rate. Higher discount rate, reduced PBO, lower PBO is multiplied by higher rate of return compute, interest component pension expense. Rate effect is larger than discount effect, increasing pension expense. Yeah, usually pension. Investment return goes up, pension expense will go down because you are assuming a pension return, huge amount in pension return. That will be good, but then that will bring down your pension expense. So this is the key point. This is the key point. If I were you, I go to pension footnote. I will look at 4 or 5 years of return assumption. How they change. Wage inflation, obviously, if the rate goes up, the salary goes up, you have to pay higher a pension expense, because pension expense is a function of percentage of your salary expense. Look at the General Electric funding status. Here, this is the overfunded, and why underfunded from here? Market crash. Percentage investment in stock just crashed. So your PBO is greater than plan asset, 2008 and on. And that is increasing now. See, that is even increasing. And pension cost is also increasing. Why this pension is increasing? Partly because PBO is increasing. Why PBO increase has an impact on pension expense? Because you have interest cost. Interest cost is a percentage multiplied by PBO. PBO fund status, meaning PBO is growing compared to plan asset. So this much multiplied by percentage interest cost, that will give you huge, more than $4 billion, close to $5 billion interest cost. One item, see, one item, what, big sum. One item, $5 billion expense. That's a huge amount. Yeah, well, but standard assumption, it is very difficult for lease element to qualify as operating. See, this might be a compromised version for US GAAP, here, right here. Because now, they all allow, but then very strict standards for operating leases. I don't know what compromised version will come out next week. That will be interesting to see, but they are somehow very close to IFRS. Defer of actual gain or losses, and then amortize them net income over time. IFRS company recognize actual gain or loss in comprehensive income approach as opposed to AOCI, as opposed to actual gain or losses in amortization, periodic amortization. I don't know which one is better, but at least this will be